Now, I will write a sentence for you and underline certain nouns, and we will change that. So, again, changing from singular to plural. So, what I'll do, I will underline the noun, you change the number of that. Okay? Now, change. You're going to change the number. Change the number of the underlined nouns. Of the underlined nouns. That's what we are going to do now. Going to change the number of the underlined nouns. Now, the first sentence I have here is, the egg was on the plate. The egg was on the plate. On the plate. Now, egg and plate we are going to change. Okay? It says change the number of the underlined noun. Now, egg and plate are underlined. So, what will be the answer? The egg was on the plate. Now, if you change it, you will say the eggs was will change. The eggs were on the plates. The eggs were on the plates. Okay, so let's change this is singular. Now we're going to change it to plural. So how will you write it? The eggs. The eggs, we change, were on the plates. We have made it into plural. The singular nouns, we changed it into plural noun. One egg was on the plate. When you say many eggs were. Okay? Next, I have here another sentence. The shepherd took care of the sheep. The shepherd. The shepherd. The shepherd took care. Took care of the sheep. And here the underlined nouns are the shepherd and the sheep. The shepherd took care of the sheep. So what will you say? The shepherds took care of the sheep. The sheep, singular, plural, it remains the same. Okay? So you will say the answer is the shepherds took care of the sheep. That is singular sheep, one sheep, many, 100, or we say sheep. So we are getting practice. Okay. Now, next one. I have here is the roof of the house, the roof of the house. The roof of the house, the roof of the house was broken. Was broken. Now, the nouns we have to change are roof and the house. So, the singular, the roof of the house was broken. So what will you say? The roofs of the houses. So what will happen to was? You will say were broken. Now, the roofs of the houses was were. You change the verb. Were broken. Okay? So, singular form, the roof of the house was broken. Singular was. Now, when you change it to plural, the roofs of the houses were broken. Very simple, easy if you read it aloud. The next sentence I have here for you is, please cut the loaf of bread with the knife. Please cut. Please cut the loaf of bread. The loaf of bread with, please cut the loaf of bread with a knife. And the nouns underlined here are loaf and knife. Okay? One loaf, one knife. How are you going to change it to plural? So you will say, please cut the loaves of bread with knives. You don't say with knives, or just say with knives. Please. How will you write? Please cut the loaves. Please cut the loaves. Cut the loaves of bread. One loaf of bread, many loaves of bread. It remains, okay? Please cut the loaves of bread with knives. You take away knives. Knives. So you see the plural form, singular form. Please cut the loaf of bread with a knife. Please cut the loaves of bread with knives. So let's look at the sentences we have done together. The egg was on the plate, singular form. How you make into plural? The eggs were on the plates. And here you have a singular form. The shepherd took care of the sheep. That's in the singular form. We are changing into plural. The shepherds took care of the sheep. That is plural form. Next we have, the roof of the house was broken. That's a singular form. And we change it to plural. The roof becomes roofs of the houses. Verb changes. Were broken. And we got the plural form here. And the next one, last one we have, please cut the loaf of bread with a knife. Knife and loaf need to be changed into plural. Please cut the loaves of bread with knives. So you have here singular and you have here plural. So we have learned to change the number of the underlined nouns. But when we are changing, we are also taking care of the verbs. The verb change also is taken care of. We had been changing the singular to plural. Now we will do a short exercise. I'll give you plural form of sentences and we change it into singular. Now, changing the sentences from plural into singular. Change the following sentences. Change these sentences from plural to singular. Sentences from plural to singular. And that's what we are going to do now, changing the sentences from plural to singular number. Now, the first sentence I have here is, the flowers are beautiful. Okay, the first sentence is, the flowers are beautiful. Look, the flowers are beautiful. And that's a plural form. And we're going to change it into singular. What will you say? Flowers become flower. So you will say the flower. R become S because it is singular. The verb has to be changed. So you will say the flower is beautiful. That's all. Okay. So what will you say? The flower. Flowers become flower. The flower is beautiful. Okay. R becomes S when it is one single flower. The next sentence I have here is, these books are very interesting. These books are very interesting. These books are very interesting. You have here these and books and are. All these need to be changed. So what will you say? This book is. So that will become, this will become this. This book is very interesting. Very interesting. Okay? So we change these into this. This book is very interesting. And the next sentence I have here for you is, birds build their nest in trees. So the next sentence I have here for you is, birds build. Birds build their nest in trees. Now we're going to make it into singular form. You will say bird. So you will say bird builds the nest in trees. Bird, you will say the bird builds. The verb becomes builds. The bird builds its nest, singular, in, again one tree, one bird, so one tree, in tree. So you will say the bird builds its nest in, you have to put a tree, because one tree, okay, one bird. So bird builds its nest in a tree. Now let's read this and that. The bird builds its nest in a tree. Plural form, birds build their nests in trees. Okay? And then finally I have one more sentence for you. Monkeys have long tails. Monkeys have long tails. You have tails here, have here, monkeys here, a lot of changes. So what will you say singular? Monkey has. Very good. Monkey has. Very good. has a long tail. Tails become tail. Monkey has a long tail. Let's look at the sentences once more. Here, what have we done? We are changing the sentences from plural to singular. Before we did singular to plural. Now let's look at it carefully. The first sentence here is, the flowers are beautiful, and that's the plural form. The flowers are beautiful, and we have changed the flowers and the verb form. So you say the flower is beautiful, and that is singular. Okay? In the second sentence we have, these books are very interesting, and that is the plural. The sentence is plural. Now we are going to change it. So you will say this book is, the verb changes here. This book is very interesting. We put it into singular form. And the next sentence we have here is, birds build their nests in trees. Lots of changes to be made because that's a plural form of sentence. So how will you change that? The bird builds its nest in a tree. So that is a singular form of sentence. And finally you have, monkeys have long tails. And here making it, and we are going to make it into singular sentence. Monkey has a long tail. That's a singular form. So we learn to change the plural form of sentence into singular form. In this exercise, I'll give you a sentence with two verbs. So you have to choose one so that the sentence is correct. So what we are going to practice now is choosing the correct verb form. If it is singular, then it will be plural verb. If it is plural, then it will be a singular verb. You've got to be very careful. By practice, by reading aloud, by speaking aloud, saying aloud, it will become correct. No. So what I'm going to write is, which of the two words given in bracket is correct? That you have to check it out. Okay. Which of the two words I'm going to give you. Which of the two words given in brackets is correct? Is correct. So you're going to choose the word, you're going to help yourself, and you're going to learn. Okay? Now, the sentence is, my scissors, first one, my scissors are not very sharp. First, I'll write down everything, then we'll strike off what we do not need. Next. Second one, mathematics. A difficult subject. And in bracket we have is and you have are. Next we have the hunter shot 3. The hunter shot 3. Another sentence I have here is her hair, her brown. Her, we have hair, then we have has. Another two are S and R. But all the words, when it comes to striking off which one, we must be careful. The cattle, the grazing in the field. In the field. And I have words here. Cattle, cattles. And then we have R and S. I give you one more and then we go on to do the correcting of the sentences. Now, 50. 50 sheep are on the hill. Maybe one more I can give. He gave. He gave her 500 hundreds. Rupees. Okay, let's look at all the sentences I have given you, and now we are going to look at what is correct. Okay, now the first sentence, let's look at it. My scissors are not very sharp. When you say scissors, it's always, it has got two bits, so it's always plural scissors. So you cannot use singular s. You always say glasses, scissors, always are plural, because there are two. So here, my scissors are not very sharp. So what we do not need, we're going to cross it out. Okay, here. So my scissors are not very sharp. Okay, so we got that first sentence correct. What is said there? Which of the two words given in the bracket is correct? So are, my scissors are, is correct. The second sentence, mathematics. It's a subject. Mathematics are a difficult subject. Not for all, for some. So mathematics, it's a subject. So mathematics is one subject. You cannot say mathematics are difficult. Mathematics is one subject, so singular. Mathematics is a. So we do not need are. So that's wrong. It's one subject. Mathematics is a difficult subject, or it's an easy subject for some. Okay. So correct is mathematics is a difficult subject. Let's look at the third sentence. The hunter shot 3 deers. Here, whether it's 1 deer or 100, you will only say deer, because for singular and plural, we use only deer. So the second word we do not need, that is wrong. Okay? So look at the sentence. The hunter shot 3 deer. That's it. Now, here. Her hair is brown. Now, when you talk about your hair, you cannot count your hair and you cannot say hairs. So, you will say her hair. So, we do not need this. Her hair, you cannot say are, you will always say singular form. Her hair is brown, not are brown, but is brown. It's very tricky. Her hair. Hair is always plural. Is, because it's one person, her. Her hair is brown, or her hair is long, or her hair is black, whatever. The next one we have is the. Cattle, cattles. Cattle is all the animals in the farm. You cannot say cattle, you say kettles, not cattle. So cattle is for number of animals on the farm. So the plural form is cattle and not cattles. You don't need. Now here, the cattle means number. Number of them are more than one. So the cattle are grazing in the field. Are grazing. No, not is grazing. Okay. So the cattle are grazing. Are grazing. So we do not want is. The cattle are grazing in the field. That's how we say it. Now, next one we have here is 50 sheep. Sheep is somewhere sheep came. Yeah, when you have deer, it's singular, no deer. When you have sheep, it is sheep only. Fish, fish only. These things you must remember. So, 50 sheep, 1 sheep, 50 sheep. This is wrong. So, we take that away. So, 50 sheep. This is 50 is big number. So, are. We do not need is. 50 sheep are on the hill. How many you counted on the hill? 50 sheep on the hill. 50 sheep are on the hill. You counted them all. Okay, the last one you have. He gave her 100 rupees, which is correct. He gave her 500 rupees, not hundreds. You will say he gave her 500 rupees. Now, look at that very carefully. Which of the two words in bracket is correct? And we've chosen correctly. My scissors are not very sharp. Mathematics is a difficult subject. The hunter shot 3 deer. Her hair is brown. The cattle are grazing in the field. 50 sheep are on the hill. He gave her 500 rupees. So now we learned to choose the correct verb form. I'll do with you one more exercise for you to practice the choice of correct verb form. If it is singular, plural, and if it is plural, singular verb, you should know only by writing, by doing an exercise that we can. The last exercise for you, do it very carefully. Now, fill in the blanks with one of the two words given in brackets. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks fill in the blanks with one of the with one of the words. One of the two words. One of the two words given in brackets. So what are we going to do? We're going to choose. We're going to fill it up with the words, one of the words, one of the two words in the bracket. And that's what we are going to do now. Okay? Now, the sentence goes like this. First one, the crowd dash. Okay? No, we'll just was and where. You choose one of that. The crowd was where waiting. Waiting. Waiting for the king. Now, here what we are going to do again is we are going to strike up the word that we do not need. Fill in the blanks with one of the two words given in brackets. We're going to take away the word that we do not need. Okay, let's do it for first one for you. The crowd was waiting for the king. The crowd were. Crowd is already plural, so we need to have singular verb. So you will say the crowd was waiting and you do not say were waiting. So that's how we are going to proceed with the thing. Okay, we are going to pick up the word, strike of the word we do not need. The next one we are going to do is there. You have two words here, is, are, a class. A class of students. Here. The next is the flock, this flock of birds, this flock of birds is, are, this flock of birds always seen in the morning. Okay, another sentence I have here for you is the family. The family. The family have left the house. Next we have there is a herd of cattle the field. Then you can write one more. The committee. The committee divided in its opinion. I think I can give you one more sentence. The people in the crowd, the people in the crowd were pushing one another. Pushing one another. Now, let's look at it carefully, what all I have done for you, and then we'll choose the correct word. Okay. Strike off, we'll take off like the first one, we'll take away what is not needed. The crowd was waiting for the king. Okay? Was waiting because the crowd is plural, so use a singular verb. Now, there are a class of students here. Let's say, there are a class of students here, or there is a class of students here. So what will you say? There is a class of students. There many is a class of students here. So you do not say are. There is a class of students here. The next one, this flock of birds. This flock of birds dash always seen in the morning. So we'll say flock is again plural. This flock of birds are seen in the morning. You cannot say this flock of birds is seen is wrong. So we take away is. This flock plural. So plural we use again birds, group of birds. So many birds. So using are. So this flock of birds are always seen in the morning. The next, the family left the house. The family. You will say the family have left the house. You will say the family has left the house. You do not say the family have left. The family has. Family, number of people in the family. Singular form. The family has left the house. There a herd of cattle in the field. There is, not there are. You will say there is a herd of cattle in the field. Okay, next one. The committee. Committee is number of people. The committee are divided in its opinion. You will say the committee is. This is plural, singular. So the committee is divided. Committee is divided in its opinion. And finally we have the people in the crowd. The people in the crowd was pushing one another. No, you will say people, the crowd is 100, big number. So the people in the crowd were pushing one another. So now we learned singular, plural form to choose the correct verb form to make correct changes in the sentences by reading aloud, by writing itself. For the last time, let's read the correct form. The crowd was waiting for the king. There is a class of students here. This flock of birds are always seen in the morning. The family has left the house. There is a herd of cattle in the field. The committee is divided in its opinion. The people in the crowd were pushing one another.